The Catholic Morning Show.
Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, O blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." And in this Bible verse in Matthew 25, people reply to the king, "When did we do any of this?" And the king answered them by saying, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me." Matthew 25, rightfully famous for its vision of what the church looks like. And in so many of these admonitions of the king, that to do so to the least of our brethren, those who are hungry, those who are thirsty, who are sick, that need care, that need clothed. So many things that we are able to do here in the Diocese of Des Moines, all of the Iowa dioceses, and just the listening area in general. But perhaps one of the hardest ones to fathom of being able to address is that last admonition, to visit the prisoner and to be there for them. How do we do that? Well, we're going to talk about a way that that's happening here in Ames, Iowa today. Matthew 25 House tries to address that issue specifically, and we have with us the president of the board of directors, Terry Herman, who is joining us. Terry, thanks for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Glad to be here.
When it comes to Matthew 25, in a brief statement, if someone is asking you, how do you explain what it is that you all hope to do?
Well, our mission, as you had mentioned earlier, is to help formerly incarcerated men imagine and embrace a new way of living through Christ-centered relationships that build a sense of belonging and self-worth.
Well, for the listeners out there, what would first drew you to help with Matthew 25 House for your in your narrative of your life?
In my life, it was actually a brief encounter with a deacon in our church who was already serving in a capacity as a board member for the Matthew 25 House. He met me in the hallway and said, "Terry, I've got a job for you." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Would you mind attending this board meeting for me?" And from that moment on, I was hooked. Meeting the other board members and their devotion to trying to make a change in the lives of these men who are faced with the terrible plague of recidivism, I became excited about doing it. And so myself, unlike the other members on the board, I had no direct connection with individuals who were imprisoned. And it was really their mission, their desire to make a change in these men's lives that inspired me to get involved.
Now, you might be thinking out there, how can you understand what a week of this would look like? So we've been talking with Terry Herman, who's the president of the board of directors for Matthew 25 House. To answer that for our listeners, what does it look like in a typical week if you're volunteering at Matthew 25 House?
Well, there are many opportunities to volunteer at the house, primarily individuals who are called to this type of service would come and just spend time with the men. We meet every morning at 6 o'clock for a devotion time. We do that Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, we meet for a Bible study. And then the men are encouraged to participate in a church service with one of our board members. And so they get involved in a church community. They learn about volunteerism, which is really quite foreign to many of the guys coming to the house. By giving of themselves to others, they stop focusing on themselves and rather start changing their lives for their own benefit. And for the benefit of the community. And so an individual who might come and volunteer can do it by providing that type of mentorship or providing services to the house, helping out around the house. It really is, for the most part, pretty self-supportive. And so volunteers might find themselves helping the guys with employment. They might find themselves helping them with financial matters, helping them set up a budget, things of that nature, just the things that we experience in a family environment. And so that's what I would encourage volunteers to do.
Well, Terry, what's a moment for you that, from your volunteering, that would really stick out for our audience to hear today?
Oh, I think a moment that really sticks out to me is when I see the men go through the year-long program and then graduate. And then not only that, but they continue in our lives. So we don't lose those connections when they finally get out and get an apartment of their own, or are living apart from the house, but they continue to participate in the activities, continue to join us in our church service, Bible study, and just general meetings during the week.
Well, when you listening out there think that the impact that might be able to happen with a program like this, wanting to answer the call of our Lord to what he asks us to in Matthew 25, Terry, do you mind telling our listeners what is some of the impact you've seen through the work of this wonderful institution? You bet. I think the impact really is when we notice a change in their lives. The men, the biggest problem recognized by our founder back in 2007, Deacon Don Payer founded this, and he was not only a deacon in his church at St. John's Episcopal here in Ames, but he was also the Story County Jail chaplain for about 12 years. And he became increasingly frustrated by the familiar faces that he kept seeing coming into the jail. And with the desire of trying to make a change in their lives, break this cycle of recidivism, he went to his parish with the idea. Terry, you there? Sorry, folks, we lost Terry there for a little bit. We're getting here at the end of the interview, so just to make sure people, if they want to know to find out more, you can go to their website, matthew25house.org, especially if you hit on the About button. The 4 key focuses of Matthew 25 House is to provide a Christian family home life, provide a church and a sense of belonging, provide released men with a spiritual and faith-based lifestyle, and to provide a base needed for success. Their values are being hopeful, humble, accountable, and encouraging, also persevering, and the many things that they have. You can go online to find out the successes, what's involved in volunteering. They always need donations. So, for instance, if maybe it's hard for you yourself to get over there, this is in Ames, Iowa. You can mail your donations to P.O. Box 1906 Ames, Iowa 50010. They have a donation portion of their site. Again, you can contact them by going to Matthew 25 House. So we had a chance to speak with Terry Herman, who is the president of the board of directors for Matthew 25 House, a wonderful ministry answering the call that our Lord gives through Matthew 25 to be there for the prisoner, to help with recidivism, and to be there precisely for those in most need. Terry, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Listen to the Catholic Morning Show weekdays at 7 a.m. Central on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network, iowacatholicradio.com, or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.